I'm ready whenever you are.
Sweet. All right. We're live, not live. We'll start
Not
with
live,
that.
which is
Yep.
good.
And then we got double finger guns. We're good
As you
there.
do.
Yes.
Mickey Mouse, a
Okay.
painting,
Yep.
and here we
Yep.
go.
All right. Catcha. Rapid fire question. Client comes to you with a website that
Okay.
they're struggling to show up in search engines. What do you tell them to do?
I mean, the first thing that I think about, obviously beyond content and all of that, but the first thing I think about is your meta descriptions, your title tags, and your H1s. Like headers right out the gate are something I think are missed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
How
much
about
so
you?
that, well, I agree. Like the meta title specifically, I mean, in the world of technical SEO, the meta titles specifically are important because I think it was a year and a half ago, maybe further back, Google started actually rewriting those for some websites. Like if you just put in like a default template or whatever, it will sometimes literally reword how they show up in search results because they think that they can do it better than you can. So we know that it's important, and we know that it is one of the biggest factors in terms of determining relevance on a website.
Relevance on a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well,
So yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about nitty gritty technical
The
SEO
nitty
on
gritty, the
site.
nitty gritty dirt band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. No, I think jumping into the nitty gritty of like technical SEO, some things that you can actually do on your website to make a difference, move the needle.
So your top two would be metadata and headings.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Yeah.
And mostly the headings. That's the one I see all the time because I think what happens is people start designing to design their website and they just are like, the headings don't matter. They can say whatever I want them to. And actually, that's one of the places where there's a really good signal to Google or LLMs or whatever you're trying to optimize for about what the content's about. And sometimes people are like, no, it needs to say this thing, not Montana website development. It needs to say something completely different that has nothing to do with what our business is. Anyways.
Or people using headings as a design element and not a content.
Yes.
So
all the time.
Yeah. And when you've got like semantic HTML structure, headings, their purpose is to group content together and create a hierarchy of content based on heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 down to heading 6. And so if you're just like, I like the look of heading 3, I'm going to throw that in 15 different places, even though it makes no sense as a heading. The crawlers are reading that and they're like, what the heck? Like, I don't understand the structure.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. This content doesn't have anything to do with this heading. What do you mean? Obviously, we can't rank you for that.
Yeah.
Interesting. But I think it's all digital plumbing. Like it's all, I mean, what we call digital plumbing. The backside, the technical, the like all of it comes together. But
Katja, tell me the origin story of digital plumbing.
The origin story of digital plumbing. I gotta say, I only know this on a high level. I don't know the full origin story, but I'm pretty sure that we were in a conversation with a client and she just kept saying that somebody has been offering to help her with her digital plumbing. Meanwhile, we are her website agency at the time. And we're like, yeah, but I mean, like, we could probably help you with your digital plumbing also. And we're like, what the heck? I mean, I was a little thrown off by what digital plumbing was or why anybody called it digital plumbing, but that name kind of just stuck after that moment, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it came from an origin of this other place. They're giving you the smoke and mirrors and they're calling it digital plumbing. And so it became not only this foundation for what we consider these great things that you should do, but it also kind of an inside joke of like, you need to fix your digital plumbing or you're going to fail.
And at the same time, it's such a good description. Like after that moment, anytime, because I work on the content and design side more than the technical SEO side. And anytime I had, a GTM question or I needed help optimizing some kind of text or some keyword research, I would be like, yes, I'm going to call up Dan and ask him for some digital plumbing help. And I kept calling it Digital Plumbing with Dan. I was like, we need to make a podcast or a series or something. It needs to be Digital Plumbing with Dan. And it just it stuck after that. So here we are. with the Digital Plumbing Podcast. It's not going away.
Yeah, it became a thing.
Here it is. For
Okay,
better or worse.
Talking about digital plumbing encompasses more than just on-site optimizations. We're going to talk about more things that live in that world, like Google Tag Manager and GA4 and Google Search Console and those kinds of things. So let's kind of jump into those. We talked about meta descriptions, meta titles, headings. What other kinds of on-site technical SEO would you consider important for a website?
And I think just stepping back really quick and reminding everybody that our goal this week is to have something that's actionable. You can take these things back and make sure that your website, regardless of where you are in the process, maybe you're just building a website, maybe your website's been out there for years. These are the kind of things that you should look at and see if they are up to date, if they are relevant to what your product or service is, and just actually go back and implement some of these things that we're talking about today. So back to your point on the on-site SEO kind of stuff. Is that where we were?
Yep.
So I think this goes back to that intro conversation, the meta titles, the meta descriptions, and the headings. Let's start there. Make sure they're optimized. Things when we're talking about SEO, what is your product? What is your service? Where are you located? How do you want people searching and finding you? Do a bunch of keyword research and then go back and implement those keywords into those key places. I know when people build websites, and we're not going to get into this, but on like Wix or Weebly or Squarespace or all of that, sometimes there's an auto setting. And I would just encourage anybody to take the time to actually fill out those different fields because it's something you can control in your SEO and at least send signals to Google or whatever search engine you're trying to influence that this is what you're talking about and this is what your business is.
Yes. And back to your point on keyword research is it's a really good idea to have an idea of what you want your page or your site to rank for before you start optimizing those things like metadata, because as a general rule of thumb, you want one particular page to rank for one particular keyword or set of keywords, and those are related keywords. So that's what you're putting into your meta description and your meta title. That's what you're putting into your headings and your content. So you kind of have to do that little bit of homework first to decide what you want to rank for, because you don't want two pages to rank for the same thing either, because then they're competing with each other.
It's a never-ending battle, honestly.
Especially with the big sites. We have some clients that have some big sites, hundreds or thousands of pages, and it becomes a spider web you've got to keep track of.
The monopolizing your own traffic is such an interesting problem, and the topic clustering and all of that. But again, not necessarily what we're getting into, but yes. Right. Setting a page, what you're optimizing for, and then those keywords need to be at the beginning of your title tag, and they need to be your H1, and they need to be at the beginning of the meta description. Like, it's not just being in those places, it's being as close to the front as possible. So,
right.
Yes.
Yeah. And the only other big one, not necessarily for moving a needle, but like, are your images, specifically the alt tag. So for people that don't know, the alt tag is like, it's in the code of the image. It's not seen on the front end typically, but search engines can read it. And you basically use an alt tag to describe an image. And you can use keywords in that area as well for Google image results. But it also is a big piece of accessibility for people that have screen readers and visual impairments. So
for sure,
important for two reasons.
On that call out for accessibility, but also as we move into this age of AI or whatever we're going to call it, the LLMs are also using the alt text to give back context. So they're like, oh yeah, there's even an image on this site that is meaningful to this topic. Like, it just gives another trust signal to the LLM that that's actually what you're talking about. And maybe they should consider putting your content forth in the answer to that search query.
Yeah. Speaking of AI crawlers, in terms of optimizing for them, because that's the world we live in now, optimizing for search engines and AI.
Crazy.
Is their LLMs, they don't see your site. They don't see your images. They crawl the raw HTML of the code. So when you're thinking about optimize your content, you need to make sure that raw HTML is readable and understandable by not a human eye, And that includes things like using a language such as JavaScript. Don't be hiding and showing things with JavaScript, because if you do that, the LLMs can't process that. They can't see it. They're going to completely ignore it. So another shout out to like H1s and H2s and good content organization is those LLMs are reading that.
The JavaScript is an interesting thing. I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was like, oh, I know it's really important to have all this on the site, but I'm going to put it in this FAQ structure that's kind of hidden in all of this, but it's behind a JavaScript. And I'm like, that FAQ that's not going to help, because not all of your LLMs can see it. So Absolutely. You're producing really great content and you're having all of these answers because you know it's important, but put it somewhere that they can see it.
Mm-hmm. And what's really nice is just to not to get too far off topic here, to test that, you can view the raw code of your page anytime in any browser. Usually in Chrome, you can just right click and say view page source, and it'll show you the raw HTML. And that's exactly what the LLMs and even Google are seeing. But Google's a little more sophisticated because it can process JavaScript, whereas LLMs cannot.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so back to the on-site SEO. Anything else to mention? I know we're kind of like high level throwing this out, but internal links still super important. External links still give your site authority.
Yes, external links going out are good for relevance. External links coming in to your site, that lends authority and expertise. And linking between content on your site basically helps the crawlers get around, because they start on a page and they only follow links to crawl the rest of the pages on your site. And so you need to send links to relevant content, related content. That's that topic of topic clusters that we'll probably talk about in the future.
Okay.
But just generally internally linking from one page that's relevant to another.
Nice. And then there's one other, since we're talking about bots crawling and internal linking and all of that, a quick shout out to your XML sitemap and then your robots.txt file. Mm-hmm. Super important that you're actually letting the robots crawl your content. So making sure that is open to the crawlers.
Yes. If you're blocking the crawlers, then there's no point in any of this.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not going to show up, but.
Yeah. And kind of leading from the robots and the sitemaps is when you're launching your site, or even if your site's already launched, make sure that your site is registered at Google Search Console and Bing Webmaster both. And so they're both free. You can set up a property, you verify that you own the site, and then it can read the sitemaps. It also has a ton of great tools on performance, how you're ranking. They even have AI tools. Bing Webmaster added some AI visibility tools to their platform.
I think that's such an interesting piece of the conversation. Search Console for so long has been the gold standard in getting it on Google and all of this stuff. And like Bing's always been in the background and it's always going to be in the background and whatever. But all of a sudden, Bing is huge for some of that LLM sourcing. And so all of a sudden, those Webmaster tools and putting it in to their side is so important for the visibility of your site. And It is something that we have been discounting for years.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and I think it comes from Microsoft's business deal with OpenAI. A lot of their stuff is powered by ChatGPT and OpenAI products, and they're like Copilot and
yeah, for sure, all the Microsoft AI stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all their products too.
So, and it's free. It's free. It's super easy, especially if you do Google Search Console first. A lot of times you can import that into Bing Webmaster without having to do it twice. They make it pretty easy. So that's a thing to do that will impact the visibility of your site.
Yeah, and one of the things that we're talking about this, like on-site technical SEO, and those are things you can do right now. When I'm working with clients to start a website, one of the things that I always tell them, I'm like, let's get it in Search Console, let's put GA4 on here, let's put a Google Tag Manager container, because all of those things are going to set us up for the next step. Even if you're not going to use analytics right now, even if you don't care how many people, like you should care, but if you don't right now, you will, and let's start collecting that data. So there's the historic data to pull from.
Yes. Katja, can we talk about GTM next time, please?
I'm a big fan of GTM, so I think, and it's too big of a topic to actually get into right now. So yes, let's go with yes.
Awesome. That's going to be a fun one. All right. What else? Anything else? Final thoughts? How about a little bit of front end stuff? Like, just because we can
Yeah,
change
no, I
it.
think this is a good time to call that out, because all of the back end stuff, yes, but you're still designing for people, and people are on the front end. So even if the robots can't see the pretty design, I think it's important to like talk about the front end just a little bit.
Yeah. So tell me your most important front end thing that you talk about nonstop, incessantly.
For the love of all things good and holy, please look at your site on mobile before you publish it. Like, just take a minute, just go see what the margins look like, or if there's overlapping elements, or if the menu looks unusable, or I don't know. Just look at it on a mobile device. Just please look at it on a mobile device.
Like, that's like your favorite thing. And you really should be designing mobile first, but just at least if you're not, just look at it. Just see if it's broken.
Mobile first has been the recommendation for 15 years, and still there are so many times where I'm like, okay, but nobody looked at that. Like, you didn't open that on your phone. Why didn't you open that on your phone?
Yeah. Nobody's pinching and zooming on a website anymore on their phone. They'll just back off. They'll just
right. Like, if it doesn't work, or there's always those elements that like somehow go outside of the container, and all of a sudden you have a bad horizontal, not like actual horizontal scroll, but like a bad horizontal where you have to like move over just to read the end of that text. It's so bad. And God, I mean, mobile has to be over 50%, right? Of
yeah, it's like just a little
website
bit.
traffic.
Yeah, it's funny, in the US, it's not as much as you would think. It is a little bit over 50% according to some like 2026 stats, which because a lot of, and it's funny why, because a lot of American businesses started on desktops, and they still think that desktop can be the way to do like productive things, as opposed to other countries that didn't go through that big desktop wave, like Africa. They're like 80% something mobile usage over
that
desktop.
makes a lot of sense, actually, if you think about those cultures and stuff. Everybody has a phone these days, and the desktop was just never part of the culture, or like sitting down at the computer. So that makes a lot of sense.
But I mean, even half of your users are coming from mobile. Like, it's got to have at least as much attention as you put into the desktop version of your website, at least.
Crazy. And I think, I mean, it's still worth calling out. I know we've done it a few times today, but content is going to be the thing that moves the needle. Content is my first love, and we'll get into that also. Like, maybe not on the GTM episode, but we'll dive into content and how to write and how to optimize and all of that too.
Oh yeah. That's good. That'll be a good one.
Let's see.
I mean, yeah, what else? The only thing I guess I would mention is, anything that we talk about, probably the entirety of this podcast series, is you never set it and then forget it. Everything is always evolving. Everything is changing. You need to be reviewing your stuff, your content, your on-site technical SEO, your keyword research. You can't just leave anything alone.
Yeah, the industry is changing. And back to our conversation last week about all the AI stuff, all of those are looking for updated content and new content and keeping it relevant. And so in this world of this like changing search behavior, it's a huge, huge green flag to the LLMs that your content is relevant and should be shown. So not only do we have to keep the website updated and current, but adding more content is a huge piece of the puzzle right now.
Yep.
And then, I mean, I guess to tease a little bit at next week, we're going to dive super into the call to actions and conversions. And that's why Tag Manager matters, or at least one of the big reasons I feel like Tag Manager matters.
It makes that process of conversion optimization, conversion tracking so much easier than it used to be, because you can do it without having to code.
Isn't that cool? Like, I can add things to the site to track, and I never have to talk to a developer.
And I love things that make myself obsolete. That's just like my favorite
right?
thing.
Isn't that great? It's all back to that vibe coding thing.
Right.
Watch out, we're coming for your job.
Right. It's all good. It's all progress.
It's not. It's just giving us more tools in our tool belt. I mean, come on. Yes, we could wallow in what AI looks like and what it means for everybody's job, but I think right now we're just kind of at this cool crossroads where it's a lot of new technology and we get to pick and choose how to use that. So I'm excited. Huh?
Was I wallowing?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Not wallowing.
Good.
Not
I
you.
didn't feel like I was wallowing.
Not you. I didn't mean you. Sorry. The like general world is out there wallowing about the state of the job industry and how many jobs we're going to lose. And this probably didn't need to be part of the conversation, but here we are because AI is so interesting and things are moving so fast, to your point. So there we have it.
That's today. Digital plumbing. You know where it came from. You know what it is. Now we're going to talk a lot about it.
On-site technical SEO. Go find that checklist. Make sure you're doing all the things.
Yes. Right on.
All right.
Thanks for joining us for a little digital plumbing. I'm Dan.
And I'm Katja. And as always, we don't have all the answers, but we love digging into the questions with you.
Be sure to follow along for new episodes each week. If you love the digital marketing world, we're keeping the conversation going on digital-plumbing.com and can't wait to hear from you.
We'll be back next week with a new episode, but until then, stay curious, stay creative, and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty.